This is a Sunny Angel, and my girlfriend is obsessed with them. More specifically, this is a Hipper. They can be used anywhere. For example, they can be used on your phone, your computer, or just about anywhere you can imagine.
Hello.
Next, I'd like you all to meet Curia. I'm going to be using her to make my own Hipper. Initially, this wasn't supposed to be this week's video. I actually had the idea to make a plush, but it wasn't as straightforward as I thought. We'll save that one for another time. Instead, I stuck to my roots and I opened Blender. I spent some time analysing my girlfriend's Hipper and noted down the things I would like to include in my design. The Hippers are about 7 to 8 centimeters tall. Their hands are actually so small that they barely even reach over the surface. They more rely on the 3M tape that's stuck to their stomach. And lastly, for some reason, they all have widgies, which is something I won't be including in my design. I launched Blender, and again, I stole a high poly count model of an iPhone. I began modeling Curia, as this is my girlfriend's favorite character of mine. I remodeled her arms, and instead of individually rotating every face and hoping it worked, I added an armature, which basically allows it to move like a normal arm. I also fixed her legs with an armature, allowing me to bend them and look like she was dangling. Then, I had a decision to make. Previously, as I've said, the glasses on the characters are... well, they're kind of on. They probably won't work as a Hipper, as they would be the first thing to fall off or break. So I experimented making the glasses flush with the face of the character. We looked at it for a while and we decided it looked stupid. So I separated the glasses and the model to be printed separately. And that was it for the first design. I was pretty happy with the first design. But as you know, everything else I've made has been Curia, so I just had to make a Curia Hipper as well. I followed all the same steps I did with Curia. I added bones to his arms and legs, I positioned him slightly different to Curia, and he was also done. After applying a quick Boolean modifier to both of them, they were ready to be printed. The first print went great. I decided to print them face down, as in my mind this saved more material. I have no idea if it actually did, but to me it made sense.
She's adorable.
After a quick sand and a couple layers of primer, I was pretty confident in how they were turning out. They fit great, and now they were ready for some paint. Since the Hippers are so small, the paint came out rough. I tried multiple layers, I tried sanding it back, I tried more layers. It just didn't look nice, but I was willing to put this aside. I decided to glue on the glasses, and that's where I made the biggest mistake of all. I ruined them. So, back to the 3D printer. I decided I would try to print them at a different angle this time. I thought that if I printed them upright, it would use less supports and the surface wouldn't need as much sanding to be smooth. But of course that didn't work for me, so I printed them again. This time only rotating them about 15 degrees. I scaled them up a couple of centimeters, so this time they would be easier to paint and hopefully easier to attach the glasses to. They came out perfect. And now it was time for my favorite part of the process, sanding. I gave them both a quick sand, and then I hit them both with spray primer. For those of you who don't know, spray primer is used a lot in the 3D print community. This one is a filler primer, so it should help reduce some of the layer lines. After another sand just to make sure they were completely smooth, I started painting. One thing I noticed when previously using the spray primer is it's grey, so the whites don't show up as well as I would hope. You may be thinking, Adam, why don't you just buy a white spray primer? And the answer to that, I can't be bothered. So I coated over the heads and legs of the characters with this white gesso, which is essentially just a thick white base. This meant that later when I put white paint over them, it actually came out white and it wasn't like a grey muddy colour. I added the signature pink to Curia's dress and blue to Curia's hoodie. The pink for Curia came out a bit more hot pink, but I was okay with it because it allowed the model to stand out a bit. I was much happier with this paint job. It wasn't perfectly smooth, but it wasn't that. And now I was up to the point where I previously ruined it. See, I haven't showed you guys yet, but when I glued on the glasses initially, they went on wonky and they look odd to say the least. I also accidentally bent one and I couldn't be bothered reprinting it. Of course, because I'm a Befoz? What the f does that even mean? Because I'm a professional YouTuber, I of course got the wrong angle and I'm blocking the camera the whole time. But they look way better than they did. I touched up their glasses with this black Artline pen, and all that was left to do was to seal them with this clear matte finish Mod Podge. Add a little bit of adhesive to their tummies, and there we go.